It's
Hey, Mr.
beginning to
Suhu.
look
Okay,
a
so
lot
today I'm going to be
like
explaining Chapter 5 to you, so here we go.
everywhere you go. Take a look at the 5 and 10. It's glistening once again with candy canes and silver.
So today we're going to be talking
glow.
about nth roots
It's beginning
and
to look
rational
a lot
exponents. So with
like
the first
Christmas.
example, you need to remember that anything to
Toys
the
in
0
every
power is going to always be 1. And so
But
2
the
to the
prettiest
power
sight
of
to
1 is
see
always going to be 2.
is the
So
holly
2
that will
times
be
1
on your own
is
front
always 1.
door.
And then the second example, 4 to the second power, you do 4 times 4, which is 16. And with another example, we have 10 to the third power. 10 times 10 times 10 is 1,000.
Mom and Dad can hardly wait for school to start again. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. Everywhere you go, there's a tree in the Grand Hotel.
Okay, so with roots, the way you do
One in
these
the
is
park as well.
you find the square root of it.
It's the
So
sturdy kind
the
that
square root of
doesn't
4
mind
is
the
2.
snow.
And then with this is a different type
beginning
of
to look
example.
a
So 3
lot
to the power of 8 you would get 2. And the way you do these is you would do 2 times 2 times 2. So 2 times 2 is 4. And then times 2 again
And the
would
thing
be
that'll
8.
make 'em ring
So
is
the answer would
carol
be 2.
that you
So when doing the
describe
radical
with
form, the way you do this
Or
is
to
you have close
the
parentheses 4 to the
square root of 16
and then
2
close
because 4
parentheses
times
to the
4
power
is
of
16.
The way you do this is
So there's
the outside number
and
on the
then
4 is always going to be at the bottom, and then at the top is going to be the outside number in parentheses, which is 3, and then you write the number that was in the square root, which is 16. And then with the next example, same thing, and then you have 3 on the outside part of the square root, and then 125 at the bottom, and then on the outside of the parentheses you have 2. So the number that's on the outside, which is 2, that always goes on the top, and then the number that's next to the square root always goes on the bottom. And you can simplify that, and then you get 25. So now we're going to be talking about rational exponents and radicals. So with these, with the first example, it's the power of products. So you get x times x times x squared to the x to the 10th power. So the way you do this is you multiply x times x, which is x, and then you multiply or add the exponents, which is 1 plus 2 plus 10, then you get x to the power of the 13th, and then with the next one you get 2x to the 4th power times 5x to the 8th power, and the way you do that is you multiply the exponents, so 5 times 2, and then you add x to the 4th power plus 8 to the x to the 8th power, and then you get 10x to the 12th power. And then with the next example, which is an example of my own, you do 3x squared times 5x to the 3rd power, and then the final answer is 15x to the 5th. The way that you do these, it's called the power of a power. You start off with x to the power of m, and that's in parentheses, and then on the outside you have n. So what you do is the ones that are next to each other, you multiply those. So with the second example that we have there, it's x to the 4th power, which is in parentheses, and then to the 3rd power. And you multiply the two exponents, and then you get x12. It's important to remember that if it's a negative 1, then you would put a 1 underneath it, which would make it 1/2 to the power of 1, and then your final answer would be 1/2. And then with the next example, you do the same thing. You bring down a 1 underneath it, and then it would become 1 to the 3rd power over 2nd, and the final answer would be 1/9. So in doing the 0 exponent, anything to the power of 0 is always 1, no matter what the number is. This one's called quotient of powers, and with these, you need to remember that you subtract the exponents. And with the second example that's shown here, you get 5 to the 3rd power, and to find your final answer, you need to remember to do it to the final answer, and then you would get 125. The second example, which is a little harder than the most, you have an exponent, and then you bring the exponent to every single part of the equation, and then you multiply that, and then you get the final answer. And you need to remember that you need to put it in the right spot, so you get the final answer. You're always given time and height, but you need to remember that when you flip the sign, when you have 1/2, it becomes multiplication, so that is where the 4 comes from.
And have yourself a merry little Christmas now. Faithful friends who are dear to us.
So here's my own example. We have time, which is 10 seconds, and 0.20 feet. And the way we're going to set this up is the same as how we set this one up. So we do 10 seconds over 0.20, and then is equal
Don't want a lot for Christmas.
to 20.
There's just one thing I need. Don't care about those presents
20 again.
underneath the Christmas
And
tree.
this
I
is
just want you for my own, more than you could ever know. Make my wish come true. You
here
know
we
that all
do
I
10
want
over 1,
for
and then
Christmas
divide it by 1 to the power 2, and then when you flip it, it becomes multiplication, then 10 times 2 equals 20. 1 times 1 is equal to 1. And over here you have 20 to the power of 2. And then this would be 40. And then you would do same thing right here. Squared, because whatever you do on this side, you have to do on this side. So this is right here. And then you would get
with a
40.
toy on Christmas Day. I just want you here tonight.
Okay, so by doing these videos,
Holding on to me so
understand it
tight.
better,
Girl, what
and by me
can I
recording my
do?
voice over the video and
that
speeding
all I
up the video,
want
I think that's like makes
Christmas
my videos way shorter, which is
Day.
helpful, so you don't have to watch a lot of videos. And I also, I really like this lesson because it teaches you
And
to
all the lights are
And so I'm
shining
hoping
so
I'll do that.
brightly everywhere.
I took that surveying class because
And the
I
sound
learned
of
that
children's
I was a golden
laughter
retriever,
fills
which I thought was
the
really cool.
air.
And what it said about that was that they're like outgoing, and it's like kind of hard for them to concentrate, and they're kind of like unorganized, and that they're outgoing, and they're like loyal and easy to talk to. And I found all of that stuff like super accurate, so I thought that was really cool. That was like that's definitely something I'm gonna remember.
No, I just wanna see
That video that we watched in class about 5 signals of love is really cool too. And what I think is most important is probably physical touch, because like I love giving people hugs and letting them know that they mean a lot to me. So hope you liked my video, and I hope you have a good winter break. Bye, Mr. Suhu.